you know what? It feels really weird to, like, any information that I have to fill out, any documentation, like, and I put business owner, I normally have to accompany it with like some sort of like business owner, because it's still weird to me, the fact that I own a business. I mean, I know that's like a fact, but it's still strange, like, saying it, because, you know, growing up, you sort of taught, like, business studies, for example. I got a D when I did my business studies GCSE. So on that basis, it's like being a business owner is like a no-go, surely. So, you know, the fact that I'm doing it now is just crazy to me. And it kind of shows, like, you don't have to be like academically smart to do it. You just have to, I guess, yeah, just want to, really. And, you know, it may or may not work out, but, you know, you have to try. Grew up in South East London, in a place called Brockley. I think my mum's always been she's a doer, definitely. Like, she's always, I guess, inspired me to, like, just get on and do things. You know, growing up, she's always had, like, a few different jobs. She had her main job, but then she's had, like, you know, 2 other different jobs and things like that. So she's always been a very, very busy person. So I guess that's kind of why I am the way that I am. I always try to do different things, and I'm never really content unless I'm busy, which I've recently made peace with. Grew up feeling, especially where I was living, feeling quite different, you know. I wanted more from just, like, my, you know, South East London upbringing. It didn't feel like there was many creative people around at the time. It's weird because now that when I go to the same place that I grew up, it's totally changed. And it's weird because I feel like, you know, once the gentrification started happening, I was like, this is a place I can really connect to now. Like, I wish it was like this when I was growing up, because then I wouldn't have felt so alone. In, you know, sort of the music that I liked. And it's not to say that I was particularly, like, different, but I just felt it. I don't know whether that's like a teenage thing or it's an actual reality for me, but either way, it's something that I felt. And I think that's what definitely drove me into exploring other areas and trying new things. I wanted to do art as part of my secondary school experience, but sort of messed up and didn't get to do the course I wanted to do. So I actually ended up doing art when I started my college and did, like, GCSE art then. I wanted to go to uni. I think partially it was like a sort of family pressure, in the sense that, you know, will you actually really be successful in life if you don't complete the full education that you're supposed to? So I decided to, you know, just go and do the uni thing. But yeah, it was good. I met some great people there. It changed me in a lot of ways, you know, just in terms of, like, music and, like, my own sort of sense of style and things like that, and, you know, what I was exposed to. And it meant that when I did move back to London in my second year, like, it was a whole different experience for me. Like, I moved to Camden, and I guess things sort of changed from there, I guess. I spent a lot of my time, like, searching for different things. So I was quite happy to, like, sort of move through areas in the sort of creative realm, like music and then fashion. And then it sort of eventually led me on to just making jewellery, which is just something that I did for my own sort of mental health, I guess. But then also I just really wasn't seeing what I wanted the items that I wanted to, like, wear. So yeah, just started making it. Tatty Divine was a big part of that, huge part of that, because when they first came out, I was just blown away. I was just like, this is literally the stuff that I dreamed of, but in reality, in acrylic reality. So yeah, and just started making it for fun, and then started making it for friends, and then DIY art market, which wasn't far away from where I was living at the time. They had a market there, and I'd been there a few times, and I was like, do you know what, I'm going to apply. And did my first market, got in and sold some bits, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, I actually sold some stuff.
Do you remember the first thing you made? Well, like, maybe jewellery wise?
Yeah, it was fried egg earrings.
And what was the inspiration for that? Did you have any?
I just really wanted some. I don't know. I weirdly, I was really into eggs, like really into just eating eggs. You know, every Saturday, Sunday morning, Tuesday morning, if I could get up in time, I just used to make myself a fried egg. So I just thought it would be quite cool to have like some double earrings of them. And I did it, and it was just really satisfying. And also, the first time I went out to like the local pub that we used to go to, wearing them, got so many compliments on it. I was just like, okay, this isn't that weird, but also I don't care.
Lovely. I've just got the best bit. You might as well just stop there.
I guess it was weird because I was sort of stuck between having this like creative industry job as an account manager. In some respects it was great, you know, but it just wasn't who I was and what I wanted. It just wasn't for me, really. And then I kind of decided that I wanted to leave my job and move somewhere. And my partner was the same. We were both sort of getting into that stage where London just wasn't really feeling like the place for us anymore. And I guess it's weird to even say that because a lot of people, you know, I guess they want to live in London. And I also thought it would be good for me, like creatively as well, because I was getting a bit stuck. I was like making the same sort of jewellery and it was fun and everything. I mean, fried egg earrings. So, yeah, and we came up to Leeds actually to see the Jewellery Ruin, and just basically fell in love with Leeds and just thought it has such a great music scene. And, you know, you just thought, do you know what, let's just try it. If you don't like it, we can come back. And yeah, I guess 6 years on, we're still here.
So when you said it helped your mental health making jewellery, what was going on around that time?
I was just really not liking my job at all. I really just didn't like the way my life was going. I sort of knew that I wanted to do more creative things, but then I was stuck doing something that felt like, you know, even though it wasn't quite admin-y and quite like aggressive in a lot of ways in terms of like, you know, the email communications and the meetings and the planning and da-da-da. And so it was just all too much. And I felt like even on weekends I couldn't relax. And on Sunday I was getting the dread times 10. And it was just all just not feeling very good for me. And I was like, is this really what life is? You know, is this it for me? And so when I found like polymer clay, those little colourful blocks saved me. Like it just gave me a sort of feeling of release where I can sort of like let go of the sort of day job rubbish and just, you know, do something that makes me happy and that's like able to just get out like some of the creative ideas that I had. Even though it's weird really, because when I think about it being creative, I almost have myself saying that, no, that's wrong, because it's not creative, but it was just so cathartic for me. So it was just like, just a release, I guess. Yeah, so I started doing markets up here and I loved it, you know, and I kind of had a full circle moment. I applied for a market that was curated by Tasha Grant, and so they were choosing who was going to be in it, and I got picked, and I was like over the moon because it was like proper full circle. So I just felt like I had a balance. It wasn't the right balance, but it was a balance where I could like leave, go and make some jewellery, sell at markets on the weekends, and yeah, it was quite nice. And that's actually how I got to know a lot of the makers who sell in the shop, and how it was like the starting point for me wanting to open a shop. The markets are just really colourful. You see things that you've never seen before, like at the time for me. And I was like, where is this energy? Like, why isn't it translated into any shop that I have ever seen? And this is like London and Leeds. Like, I just hadn't seen something like this. Started thinking about like, well, could I open a shop that like where I could sell my own jewellery, and then I could get together other like-minded individuals, some small businesses, and we can collectively like have a platform to sell our work in a way that complements each other. And started thinking about this more and more. And then at the time, you know, my situation mentally again, especially with the job, was like not in a good place. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to have to do something, because I cannot continue on in this way. I have to do something. So I remember it was February 2019 that I decided I was going to do it. Wrote a plan within that month, which I have never written like a business plan before in my life, but I was able to do it fairly quickly. It's weird really, because I felt this at points in my life, like where when I take risks and when I try to set my mind onto something, you know, I can be successful in terms of like things moving in the way that I want them to. Not exactly in the way that I want them to, but you know, it's like, it's almost like, I guess it's meant to be, and it's sort of like a pushing mechanism for me, you know, making a change that I need to have in my life, I guess.
Where did Flavour Like Fancy come from?
Do you know what? When I first started thinking about a name after I'd done this business plan, the name of it was just sat blank on the front cover of this plan, and I was just like, what the hell am I going to call it? Went through all the names under the sun, and it was just like, it was getting to a point where I was like, I honestly have no idea. And then it just sort of came to me, and it made no sense, but I was like, I like it. I don't know why I like it, but I do, and it almost sounds like a saying, but it's not. I was really, really, really nervous about people stocking. Like once I did my business plan, I'd sort of, because when you write a business plan, it sounds really grandiose. It's really like, oh, I'm going to do this and this is going to happen at this time. But really, it's kind of all bullshit, because you're like, you don't actually know if any of it's going to come off. And at that point, I was like, what if nobody wants to stock in here? What if all these people say no? I was like, no, just ask them, just see. And when I got that first email saying, yeah, I'd love to, like, yeah, and I took it as like an investment in me, because it's like, they don't really know me like that. The shop doesn't exist. There's no space yet. Like, there's nothing that I've done before to say that this is going to work. So for the fact that they said, yeah, I was like over the moon about it. I was like, okay. And I remember coming in to speak to Mark, and I was like, I've got 10 people like in one day say yes. I was like, this is great. Yeah, and it really sort of like gave me the sort of juice I needed to continue. It's also lovely just seeing the growth and how people's work has changed, and it's like moved into different areas. Like some certain stockists now, they have like a whole fleet of products, whereas before it was just like one or two, and it's just amazing to see that development, and the fact that I've been along on the journey as well is nice.
How's Flavour Like Fancy evolved then, and sort of where are you at with it now?
So when I started, I kind of have to take you back. But when I started, I didn't want it to just be a gift shop. I wanted us to be a gift shop and a workshop space and possibly an event space. So I'm just trying to get like the gift shop even more established and try new things and just stay afloat really. But in terms of like where I want it to be, like I kind of just go with it. You know, this last year, the things that we've done is just a bit mad, really. I've curated some markets. I've done some storytelling with kids. We've done some Halloween events as well. Just sort of like, I guess, the FLF experience, but without the gifts, I guess. Just sort of embodying like our creative and colourful feel, but yeah, in different areas. But yeah, it's been going really well, and I've really enjoyed that side of things. So I guess not just a gift shop.
We always ask, and it's kind of how we finish it, but we always ask like, what's the dream?
The dream. At some point I would love to replicate FLF in different cities, because I think we're still in this sort of issue where there's like lots of gift shops around, but not a lot that facilitate colourful and creative items, like truly like unique. Like for example, like not that this is, but I find that you don't really see a lot of gift shops that, you know, have artwork that celebrates a female form or, you know, represents like the queer community or anything. So, you know, I feel proud that I'm able to do that, and you know, and it's great.
You got the sticker that says female founded business. Does it mean a lot to you to be a female founded business?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I got that sticker, it was like awarded from Holly Tucker when she was doing like her West Yorkshire tour. And yeah, being a female, especially I guess being a black female in this environment, it makes me feel yeah, definitely quite empowered, you know, like it makes me feel like I'm doing something that's different, you know, and that I'm able to like create the change that I want to see, which is lovely. And I think as well, especially with the representation part, hopefully like people will see me and just feel inspired that they can, because I guess again when I was setting up the shop, you know, that was something that I was nervous about. I was like, I don't see a lot of means doing what I do. I think as well, you know, I am just me. So yeah, it kind of yeah, I guess that's my biggest ally, like using those things that make me different to sort of like get myself out there.
Beautiful.
You're fab. You're doing it, honestly. It's incredible. Like I was saying, wasn't I? Like this is one of my favourite spaces to come because there isn't anywhere, like you said, and you're spearheading that, and yeah, you're doing brilliant.
How do you feel now?
Yeah, I feel alright. Yeah, I feel like I can no longer leave this position. Locked in.
Help you out.